Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the situation of Sergi Roberto and why I do believe that his contract renewal is going to be very important for FC Barcelona. And then later in the video, we are also going to be talking about Frenkie De Jong because there has been a bid that was given to Barcelona for Frenkie De Jong. And so could we see this player leave Barcelona in this year? All of this is going to be discussed within today's video. So let's first talk about the situation of Sergi Roberto. Now I know that it is very questionable right now when it comes to his renewal because the majority of the fan base, right, many people do believe that his renewal would not be ideal at Barcelona because we rarely do see Sergi Roberto have a good game and let alone a standout performance. And when it comes to players in Barcelona, we want to see, and the coaching staff and the people within the board members, everybody wants to see players stand out in this club and bring out a good performance. But the club right now, their stance is clear. They want to renew Sergi Roberto, and there has been reports about Xavi wanting this player in his club. The only question is, where is he going to play? What's going to be his role? What is going to be his position? Now, of course, when it comes to the midfield, we know and we have spoken about the midfield having so much talent like Xavi, Pedri, Nico, Frenkie, Ricky Puig. All of those players are going to go before Sergi Roberto. And then when it comes to the right back position, that is where everything does get very confusing, right? Because I think that the sense that we are starting to get is that Xavi wants to use Sergi Roberto as a right back. And that is what does not resonate with many Barcelona fans very well, because if we're going to be using Sergi Roberto as a right back, if that's going to be Xavi Hernandez's main plan and the reason why he wants to maintain him at this club, that does seem very strange. Because at the same time, we're also hearing that Xavi wants to let go of Sergi Dest, that he believes that he does not have the football to make it at Barcelona. And when it comes to looking at Sergi Dest and looking at Sergi Roberto, I know that you and me, right, you and me can agree that Sergi Dest stands out way more than Sergi Roberto in the right back position. Now, I'm not saying that there is something wrong with Sergi Roberto, but there could be a surprise. Like if Xavi really does think that this player should stay and that he should play in the right back position, again, we could see a very big surprise. I just think that right now, when it comes to talking about Dest, that is the closest thing we got to Dani Alves ever since he did leave back in 2017. And it only makes sense to continue to mature this player, better this player, make him understand the game of Barcelona in order for Sergi Dest to really reach the level of Dani Alves. As a matter of fact, Dani Alves has returned to Barcelona and he could be the mentor towards Sergi Dest throughout this time. But that is basically like the narrative, right? The story of Sergi Roberto. And it does say here, according to Tony Juan Marti, Barcelona intends to restart negotiations over Sergi Roberto's renewal very soon. A meeting could happen as early as this upcoming Monday. The player wants to continue, but we'll study the proposal and make sure it's reasonable for everyone first before agreeing. Now, we expect Barcelona, right, John Laporta, to hand a contract that gives Sergi Roberto a very low wage because we want to lighten the wage bill. And then Sergi Roberto, of course, is going to have to negotiate to see if this is a contract that he does want to take, because I think that about 4 to 5 months ago, it was said that Sergi Roberto declined the first offer because the agent was like, what is this? Like, this is way too low. I understand that Barcelona right now are not in the best economic situation, but this is like feeding us pennies. So we're going to have to wait and see what does happen on Monday, whether Sergi Roberto agrees with that contract proposal, yes or no. You guys already know my opinion. I do think that his renewal is going to be very important for so many reasons. Like, let's split this out into two different parts. Let's talk about the sporting reason. Sportingly, I'm just going to give my trust towards Xavi Hernandez because I believe that he knows what he's doing, and I believe that he can, and he does see that he can improve this player and also maximize him. Now, when it comes to the economic point of view of this thing, that is basically the main reason why I, even myself, would like to see Sergi Roberto renew with Barcelona, because it does say here, according to Fernando Polo, Barcelona does not have fair play for more signings, and there are a few resources to generate that. It can either be Dembele's renewal, Sergi Roberto's renewal, Neto's renewal, and Sergi Dest's potential departure. So if Barcelona do want to continue to work around that fair play, one of the answers, it is Sergi Roberto's renewal, because that is going to allow more signings to happen. I don't know if Barcelona want to bring in a brand new center forward in this winter transfer window, a new winger, a new center back. We have no idea, but his renewal, again, it is very, very important, my friends. And I think that out of all of these players that we are talking about, Sergi Roberto's does look like the most accessible one to complete. Now let's move on towards the next topic of today, and we are going to be talking about Frenkie De Jong. Now, I want to make one thing very clear here, because I know that many people were asking what happened to Frenkie De Jong, what is up with his bid, is it true or not? So earlier today, there was a story about Barcelona receiving a bid of around 40 million euros coming from a club for Frenkie De Jong. Now, I do think that that is like ultimate disrespect. The fact that you think, or whatever club out there thinks, that they can offer 40 million euros for someone like him, there's just no way Joan Laporta is going to accept an offer like that. But one of the clubs that was rumored on actually giving Barcelona a bid was Chelsea. But we do have Fabrizio Romano stating that nothing has been confirmed by the club sources about Chelsea giving a 35 to 40 million euro bid for Frenkie De Jong. Barcelona have not received any official or verbal proposal as things currently do stand. So that story was all fake. But the fact that we're talking about Frenkie De Jong and the fact that these narratives are being made, when it comes to his case, there is a lot of nervousness, right? Because when we talk about what would be Barcelona's best midfield today, right? Like if we had a game tomorrow and we were to play against Bayern Munich or Liverpool or City, the best midfield that we could place is going to be Xavi, Pedri, and Sergio Busquets. And there has been discussions and solutions about Frenkie De Jong potentially playing as a central defensive midfielder and taking over Busquets' role, so we can see a midfield of Frenkie, Pedri, and Xavi, since Pedri and Xavi are like unmovable in those interior roles. But I am a little shaky when it comes to that conversation, right? Like if we talk about Frenkie De Jong playing in that position, if there was a player to replace Busquets first within these next like 9 to 12 months, I would say Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez is a player that does have the experience on playing in that role. He has the physicality to combat other players around him, and he also has great positioning. He understands what it takes to play in the central defensive midfield position. He is a tremendous player. And when it comes to like his press resistance, let's say if we were playing against Liverpool or City and they press us very well, Nico Gonzalez is the best player when it comes to pressing resistance. Like you do feel that sense that the ball is safe when he does have possession. And what's so crazy about this whole thing is that usually when we do see Nico Gonzalez on the field, he has not even been playing in his best position. His best position is the central defensive midfield position. Like yes, he plays tremendously well as an interior, but he can play even better when he takes over Busquets' role. And so as things currently do stand, in my opinion, right, I do not know if Xavi's thinking this or not, but in my opinion, if it's not going to be Nico, if it's not going to be Busquets, it should be Frenkie De Jong. Busquets and Nico Gonzalez are going to come before Frenkie De Jong in that role as of now. But that is where the problem is, right? Because that would mean that Frenkie is not going to be receiving any minutes, and then that is where people come in with the narrative saying that Frenkie De Jong should be sold. Barcelona want to sell this player because he doesn't stand out in any of the positions within the midfield. But this is where I want to bring in the question: how do we fix this situation? Now, when it comes to this season, right, the 2021-2022 season, it is what it is. Like right now, we're just going to have to deal with seeing a midfield of Busquets, Xavi, and Pedri. That is a great midfield that I think that can deliver for Xavi's Barcelona. I have no problem with that for this season, and I do not think Xavi Hernandez has a problem with that. But when it comes to the next season, when we do head towards the 2022-2023 season, that is going to be the time where we do evaluate the midfield. That is the time where we could make a massive change and restart the career of Frenkie De Jong, and also that would be the first official season for Xavi Hernandez, which I think is going to be a very important season. And I think that moving forward, starting on that season, or maybe even in the preseason, our pivot position should only consist of Frenkie De Jong and Nico Gonzalez. Those could be two players who can alternate throughout the game. So maybe Nico can start in one game and Frenkie can start in the other. And then when it comes to the interior position, I do think that Frenkie should also be that main alternative if in case Xavi is injured or tired, or Pedri is injured or tired. And I think that that is what Xavi is going to like really value moving forward, and why I do think that Xavi does want to keep Frenkie De Jong, because he does have the versatility. Like if you really think about it, Pedri cannot play as a central defensive midfielder. Xavi cannot play as a central defensive midfielder. The only player that can play as a interior and as a central defensive midfielder, it is either Nico Gonzalez or Frenkie De Jong. And so there is no reason to let go of Frenkie because of how reliable he could be. And that is going to be the conclusion. He does have a place in this Barcelona squad, and he's going to be here for many years to come. What does need to happen though after this season is going to have to be the step down of Sergio Busquets. But as of now, this is why I do say it is what it is. And so it does say here, according to Javi Miguel, the coaches have already sent a clear message to Frenkie. Either you take a step forward in the coming months, or you will have to reconsider your situation at the club. Now, the reason why I want to bring this short little statement here, right, this story, is because this is all just narratives. Like if anything, Xavi's working closely with Frenkie, making him understand how to play in the interior role, how to play in the central defensive midfield role, and that's basically it. Like all of this is just narratives. It is all stories. I do not want you guys to believe that Frankie's going to be leaving, that there is no place. There is a place for this young star. And I also don't believe that Frenkie De Jong has been playing very bad under Xavi's Barcelona. If anything, he has been doing very, very solid. Like you look at that game against Real Madrid and you understand his movement and what he has been doing, and how he benefited other players around him. He frees up other players because he does have the intelligence in order to do so. So again, he is someone that does deserve to be in Barcelona, and he is still, and he will be, very important for Xavi's Barcelona moving forward. But that is going to be it for today's Barcelona daily news. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.